Let's roll. You ready?
Yeah.
Then we should have got these stage lights turned on. Getting fancy. All right. Welcome back to Okayest Cook Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Whonsetler, and I'm here at that way. It's that way. Backcountry Hunters and Anglers Rendezvous. It's my first time here. It's crazy fun. If you listeners have not attended any BHA event, they're all super rad, but specifically the Rendezvous, I'm having a blast. And it hasn't even started yet. We just did the the field to table dinner.
Yep.
Was last night, and I'm sitting with Mr. Jeff Benda, one of the chefs at the dinner.
Yeah.
For the dinner. How do you say that?
Yeah, I think for the dinner.
Words. You cooked last night.
Yeah, you were probably up as late as I was last night.
I was up kind of late. Yeah. It was a cool party. Tons of awesome food, tons of awesome people, and just BHA stuff, protecting wild land. So super cool. It's a super cool place to spend money, because it's keeping the wild places wild.
Yeah, it's not an expensive ticket.
No, not at all.
No, it's a pretty expensive ticket, but
you'll pay more with your flight and your gas getting here than you will to attend the event.
Yeah, actually. But it is a great event. It's a great fundraiser. They raise quite a bit of money, so we do the dinner, and then they have a live auction going on at the event. It's always just a great success. And this is fourth. This was my fourth one.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So 3 in Missoula, and then 1 in Minnesota last year. And every time I come back, there's always a few new people, but there's a few of us that have come back, and we've been cooking together and really complement each other's dishes and help each other out. So you're kind of in the midst of prepping, doing your dish and concentrating on your dish, but then as soon as you have some time or you're done with your dish, then you can everybody else is jumping in with each other. And I think there was 10 of us last night between appetizer chefs. I was one of the main course chefs, and then we had Tom Healy doing desserts. And so, there's a group of 10 of us, and everybody,
people,
it was just so great. And then the staff, the BHA staff is there, and they're running plates for us, and they do that every year, and it's
cool
just always a lot of fun. Yeah.
Plus at Teller, the refuge.
The Teller Wildlife Refuge,
stunning.
Yeah.
The barn was super cool. Yeah, just super cool venue in general, and then like I said, just a lot of commensality, one of our key words.
Yeah,
just
you're sitting there eating in this barn with the mountains
together
behind you.
Yeah.
It's just a great view.
Yeah, but like these types of events are just super cool. Like just lots of teamwork happening, just behind the scenes. Putting food together, serving people. But it's like awesome chefs who are never together until you're at these events.
Yeah, it's like once a year. Yeah, I think this is kind of our once a year time. Like Jamie, who was there and did one of the appetizers, like this is the one time a year we get to see each other.
Oh yeah,
right. And then last year it was like such a bummer. She had knee surgery, I think. Oh no. Last year, so she didn't get to come to Minnesota, and I was just so bummed because I was like, this is the one time a year I haven't seen you.
Oh man.
So it had been 2 years since I got to see her, but we just talk all the time online and
awesome.
And do some other work together. So it was just great to get everybody together. Yeah,
it was super rad. Well, we typically do a notable meal of the week segment. I'm going to skip that because the notable meal happened yesterday. At least for me. Jeff, if you have something specific you want to talk about.
No, I think that was a good one.
That stands out.
Yeah.
But it was exquisite. And I'm going to try to talk to as many of the chefs as possible. I don't know if it will be possible while we're here.
Sure.
But do you want to fire off? Let's back up.
Yeah.
Do you want to introduce who you are?
Sure.
I imagine most of our listeners know or are aware of your socials, but for the non-hunting crowd, that might not be familiar with your account and what you do. Do you want to give just like a 2-minute bio? Like, where'd you come from? How'd you get started? What got you into all this? And then where can we find you currently? And
Yeah, we might have to, the very abbreviated version.
End your
minutes.
story at this event.
Okay. My very first job as a dishwasher in a restaurant. And, I worked restaurants and, I had a lifeguarding gig too, because that was more for meeting girls. But I worked restaurants for years and then got a regular 9-to-5 job. But then had a catering. I just missed it so much, the food industry. So I had a catering business for 20, almost 30 years now. Or no, yeah, I'd say almost 25 years, the actual catering business. And started getting into hunting. I just started hunting 21 years ago. So this is, I started later in life and started cooking, doing wild game. I kind of did what everybody else did and did deer sausage and, took my meat in to get it done. And
sure,
if I got a pheasant, I threw it in a crock pot with cream and mushroom soup. And that's just because that's how I was taught.
Which isn't bad.
It's not bad.
It's maybe not the best, but it's not bad.
And I love deer sausage. I could eat it every day. And a lot of times I did. And then I met my wife. And she was not a wild game eater.
Okay.
And she was like, because I was doing these catering events and I cooked for her all the time. And she was just like, why, you make all this amazing food, but is there any chance you could do it with the wild game?
All right.
And I was like, I just never even thought about it, but that would make sense. Sure. Yeah. So she is the one who challenged me. And I started doing these dishes and she loved them. I started posting pictures on Facebook. And it was actually Justin Townsend from Harvesting Nature who cooked with us last night. And he was the one he found me on Facebook and said, hey, could we publish one of your recipes and photos? And I was like, yeah, that'd be cool. And then that kind of sent me down a path of starting my own website and building that up and getting Instagram. And
it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Then doing really awful photos in my basement with lights. It just was not a good situation. But I progressed and I wanted to learn and do better. And I did. And then it just kind of COVID hit. And a lot of my chef friends were out of work and they were sitting at home, but they started doing these online cooking classes. So I started doing wild game online cooking classes. They were selling out and selling out. And, one day my wife said, geez, I wish there was a way we could figure out how you could do this full time. That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yes.
And I heard my wife say, you should quit your full-time job with benefits and go hunting and fishing all the time and just cook and make a living doing that and write about it. And so I did. I started.
So I did.
I did. I Ubered 40 hours a week in addition to my regular job and all my other stuff and saved up for 6 months and quit with the promise that I'd make as much as I used to and enough to go under insurance. That was a lot of pressure. So I still did a lot of Uber for those first 2 years.
Yeah.
Recently, I did a big website redesign. I had enough views on my website, so I'm now with Mediavine Ad Network, and now it's paying the bills.
It helps.
And I'm literally making a living doing it, and
awesome.
And it's great. Yeah. So I'm able to do. The.
My sign got moved.
Yeah, they're doing some construction, but they, it's just been a great blessing. My wife has been super patient with this.
That's awesome.
But it's finally taken off.
It's needed for a big jump like that.
Yeah, it's finally taken off. But I think like Ina Garten, she's famous for her cookbooks and Food Network and everything like that. Nobody knew who she was until she was 50. And it's interesting because now I just turned 50.
Well, all the great artists, nobody appreciated
it's kind of
Leonardo
nice.
until he died.
Yeah, and I don't, it's not that I don't want to be famous, but I like, that's not what I do this for, but I really appreciate it when I can track and see how many people are seeing my recipes.
Yeah.
And it's super cool, like when I see like how many hundreds of people have taken the time to print one of my recipes.
That's awesome.
Like it's in their house, right?
Yeah.
That's just super cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I travel around and do cooking events like this and cooking classes. And
yeah, awesome.
And this is always my favorite of the year. I mean, the BHA Rendezvous is this is my people. Like, this is great. Hunters, anglers, foragers, people who care about conservation. And that's why I come, and that's why all of us there last night were there and volunteered our time, and because we're raising money for a great cause.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, beautiful. And awesome place to stop.
Yeah.
The biography there.
And I run, and the website is wildgameandfish.com.
Yes, yeah.
Sorry. So that's the website, wildgameandfish.com.
Same with Instagram. Yeah. Wild
Same
Game
with
Fish.
Yep. Everything's Wild Game and Fish.
We'll link that below so you don't have to type it in manually.
Sure.
But definitely check them out. I got a ton of really cool content, beautiful photos.
Yeah, thanks.
I think we initially met through Outdoor Edge Knives.
Yeah.
And, I'm, as the Okayest cook, I've contributed a tiny bit to
beautiful photos. Yeah.
I take good photos. The food is kind of questionable.
Yeah. I run their Wild Game Wednesday blog forum, and so I'm out there trying to recruit, wild game cooks and chefs for content, and so people send me a lot of stuff.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And I just got to tell you, man, like, I get some not great photos.
Oh, jeez.
And or some recipe, it's just it's kind of crazy. But I always appreciate people taking the time to contribute stuff. But some of the photos, you can tell, like, maybe it was taken, like, they were shaking and with a cell phone.
Yeah, that's not good.
That was made in maybe 2000. I don't know. But
dig back in the archives for the listeners and watchers. We have an episode. Yeah. We have an episode on how to take better food photos.
Yeah,
go check that out.
I never have to worry about Chris's photos. They're always excellent.
That.
So many times I have to try to brighten them up. Other people's photos in Lightroom and do some editing, but never with yours. So it's always great. Yeah, you always do great stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Now I just need to learn how to cook better and present a better plating.
I think you do some pretty beautiful stuff. So
thank you.
I'm always very impressed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Outdoor Edge Knives, we do have a discount code for Outdoor Edge Knives. It's OKC20. We'll get you 20% off an order. So thank you, Outdoor Edge, for that. Okay. And Jeff's got some connections with Outdoor Edge as well.
Yeah, if you go to when you go to wildgameandfish.com, if you can sign up to get a new recipe every Tuesday morning, and with that, then you join the email list, subscriber list, and then we give away an Outdoor Edge knife every single month.
Nice.
And
they're great knives.
Yeah.
I would say, like, have one in your truck at all times.
Yeah.
And they're affordable knives. Like, it's not hard to have one in your truck, one in your car, one in your backpack.
And I have that because, they send me stuff all the time, right?
Yeah.
for doing photos and testing stuff out. It's great.
Like, the price point's perfect. Like, if you lose one in the woods, like, you're not, breaking the bank trying to replace it.
So some other knives out there are much more expensive. Right?
There's a couple out there. Yeah. Some pretty ones. But we got off topic here.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the dinner, the field to table dinner. Yes. Yeah. Can you tell us what you cooked for that? Kind of like.
Yeah.
Describe the dish a little bit. Maybe get into some of the techniques. Well, we're actually recording during setup here at the booth, so if it gets a little rowdy in the background, we apologize. But
so I wanted to do. I'm because I live in North Dakota now. I'm originally from North Carolina, but I call North Dakota my home. Been there since 1982, other than moving around in my 20s and doing some restaurants in other states. But walleye is so big, right? People come to North Dakota to fish for perch, for walleye, and especially like Devil's Lake area. A lot of people have heard of that, famous. But so I really wanted to showcase. I'm all about showcasing North Dakota and the hunting and fishing opportunities there. That's awesome. And that's in everything that I do.
You got to rep where you live.
Yeah, every single recipe. If it's a venison recipe, if you go down, it says want to come to your hunting in North Dakota, and it tells you how to do it. Like if it's a duck and if it's a waterfowl recipe, same thing. If you want to know, here's a link to the game and fish department, and here's how to get a license and come. So I really wanted to showcase the fish. So I had walleye, and so I always keep the skin on, and we can go into kind of why that is.
Definitely.
But so I did this kind of got inspired. I just did a sea trout, an ocean trout recipe for the website, and on the top of this quinoa salad, and so I decided to kind of go along with that. So I did the same quinoa salad. So the quinoa salad, I had roasted red peppers, onions, some seasoning, and then olives, and Kalamata olives and green olives, and then so it gave it that saltiness, and then on top of that we had a piece of crispy skin on fish, and then on top of that I made a gremolata. So the gremolata is just traditional Italian. It's chopped, just a garnish. So it's chopped parsley, olive oil, lemon zest, garlic, and I add a little kosher salt. But to make it special and different for wild foods, I actually picked dandelions.
Yeah,
on the
that on your
property.
account.
Yeah, at Teller Wildlife Refuge.
Like the
I
day
picked
before the event, this guy's out picking
400
flowers.
I'm down there bending over, doing it all by myself. 400 dandelions. So I'd have enough leaves, the yellow leaves, to put in the gremolata, because the gremolata's got this really cool. So it's got that green, but then it's got the
Super
yellow
vibrant,
from the lemon
yeah.
zest. But then I wanted it even more yellow, and use something wild. So I actually picked the dandelions out there, and then I put dandelion greens. Cook those, traditionally very bitter, right? And other people like soak them. That's always a good idea. Like kind of soak them for 30 minutes. That'll help take it. I think Hank Shaw just did that. Actually, I had done he just published that a little while ago. There's a great sautéed dandelion greens recipe that he has on his website. But what I did different was I soaked them first, but then when I sauté them, I added white wine vinegar and a little bit of sugar, just to try to take that bitterness out. And I've used it in lots of different dishes, and it really helps. But so then I mixed that in with the quinoa salad.
Okay.
And just to kind of add
with the
that.
quinoa,
So it was so the dandelion greens off the dandelion plant. The greens were in the quinoa salad.
Gotcha.
And then you had the dandelion flowers, the yellow, in the gremolata. Yeah, the petals are in there. Yeah. And I think everybody enjoyed it. It was a great, fun dish to do.
Oh, stunning! Stunning. Me, just presentationally speaking, it was beautiful.
Yeah,
it's going to be right here. If you haven't seen it already,
yeah,
beautiful dish. Yeah, super beautiful dish. But the flavors were there too.
Yeah,
the walleye was fresh and beautiful, and like it wasn't overpowered.
Yeah.
I think the one bite I had might have had too many olives, so I should have distributed those a bit better.
Sure.
I was shooting photos the whole time, and I was just trying to smash the plate you made for me. And,
I think I put a couple extra olives in there for the photo. So
I'm a huge olive fan, but
me too.
When your bite has three,
four
olives,
of olives,
that's a little much.
Sure.
So that first bite, the walleye was a little overpowered by olive.
Sure.
But the second bite was a lot better.
Yeah, good.
I evened things out a bit more. So
yeah, great.
Yeah, super cool. Like super, just bright and fresh, and like I said, that salty vibe from the olives, like really amped that quinoa, which is it's kind of a bland grain by itself. So you gotta
adding those roasted red peppers and the onion and
that's huge.
Yeah, and I think that's a great, and so if people want to do it at home and like actually have the same dish that we did at the Field at Table dinner, and you can go check it out and pretty much put any kind of fish you want on top.
On your website right now?
Yeah, it's on the website.
But with trout?
But it's an ocean. If you go to fish recipes, you'll see it.
Yeah.
I think it's listed as ocean trout with quinoa salad.
Okay. We can link that below as well.
Yeah, that would be great. So, but you could pretty much put any kind of fish you want on it. You could put a piece of fried fish on it. You could put
bluegill's where I draw
fish.
my line of like I can fish anything up to bluegill, but above and beyond that, like walleye takes a little bit more effort.
Sure.
In Indiana.
Yeah.
And I don't need another hobby. So
you could do catfish.
Do it with
Don't
like a little
bluegill
fillet. We got some catfish. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Talk about some of the preparations. You mentioned keeping the skin on the fish. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, I always keep the skin on
does?
fish. When we talk about like flavor, right? You have the fat in between, and it's all that good fat. Like
flavor comes from fat.
Yeah, flavor comes from fat, and you have all that good fat is between the meat of the fish and the skin. There's this layer of fat in there, and when you fillet it, if you just fillet that right off, you're removing so much of the flavor, and that really counts for like almost all fish.
Okay.
Exceptions are going to be catfish and paddlefish. You gotta I've done a lot of, there's a lot of paddlefish recipes on the website. You really got to take that skin off, and then there's just this kind of layer of fat. It's like this dark gray. You got to get it off.
I've heard that with catfish.
And before you, and yeah, especially with paddlefish, it's like this metallic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You got to get that off, and before you package it. But I always scale the fish. So with walleye, I always scale the fish. And then so when I fillet it, I'll scale the fish, leave the skin on, and then because I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Like I don't like what recipe am I going to want to do? Like a redfish on the half shell, but with walleye, right? Now that is normally you leave the scales on in that presentation, but you could just never know what you're going to do. So
you can always take it off.
Yeah, you can always take it on after, right? But there's all that great flavor in there. So with a skin on fillet, we didn't have a big piece because I'm trying to feed 100 people, and I didn't have that much walleye.
It's a 3-course meal.
And you're donating the wild game and the fish that. You're
days.
Trying to donate the wild game and the fish that you've caught, and that my family has caught and my friends have caught. So we kind of
it's a lot of fish.
Got a lot donated and trying to talk as many people as you can and your friends to take the time to scale the fish, dude.
Yeah,
I'm just telling you, it's not a. They're like,
well,
I don't know, man. Yeah. But we gathered enough fish, and so it was a smaller piece. But then, so it's going to cook really fast. A fish that size and that thick. But so getting it dry, that's a key thing, because you want that skin to be dry before it hits the pan. So you want to pat it down with paper towels. Put it on a rack in your fridge. There's that little fan that goes on in your fridge. That's plenty. Just put it in there for a few hours. That's fine. If you're going to work, throw it in there in the morning. Go to work, and then when you come home, it'll be plenty dry on there. And it could be literally like a cookie, like a cookie cooling rack on top of a pan, or just even on top of a plate. That's fine. And then when you get home, just as you start the other dish, you don't want to, give it a little salt. You never want to do salt really, really early, but you give it a little salt. I like to give it a little salt right before, as I'm starting to do the prep.
Gotcha.
And just to make sure that's going to get plenty of flavor on that fish. And then when it's time to cook, the fish, you're going to get you can do oil, butter. It's going to make it a little bit crispier. But again, you want a little bit higher heat. So if somebody's worried, you can add a little bit to raise that burn point, so your butter's not burning, and because nobody wants burnt butter. You can put a little butter in your pan, but add a little oil. If you've got like avocado oil, add it to the butter just a little bit, and that's going to help so it doesn't burn. But get that hot, and then put it skin side down in your pan, and then you're not going to flip it. That's the thing, because it's a smaller piece of fish. I mean, if you need like a cod or something like that, it's thicker, but but on a piece of walleye or something like that, or bluegill, perch, something like, any kind of fish that, if we're talking freshwater fish of that size, just leave it skin side down. Take if you've got a regular spatula, that's fine. If you've got a fish spatula, that's even better. Press down on it. Okay. So all of the skin is evenly touching the pan. Yeah, it makes sense. And it's going to be about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you're going to baste that butter on top. That's why you're not just doing oil, because you want to have that butter. So you're going to baste the fish with that butter, and it's usually about 3 minutes. It just depends.
That's awesome.
And it's going to cook its way up, and then really just that's why I like to use the fish spatula, like the metal one, if you have it, or if you use a non-stick pan, they have non-stick fish spatulas. Okay. So please invest in that, and don't mix the two and scratch up your non-stick. But and then you flip it, and if you can't flip it, it hasn't had enough time. So just give it another.
Just let it release on its own.
Give it like another 30 seconds or something like that. Yeah. It'll flip out on its own. It'll flip when it's done. So about 3 minutes. It'll flip when it's done, and then just plate it. And always, when you're plating fish, you want it a skin on fish. Please serve it with the skin side up.
Yeah.
Okay, always serve it with skin side up. It's a better presentation. Hit it with a little bit more salt. Yeah, hit it with a little bit more salt, a little bit more pepper. And that's also, if you ever, if any of you home cooks out there ever make it on a Gordon Ramsay cooking show or any kind of cooking show where you're competing and you better serve that fish skin side up or you're out of there, buddy.
Well, think about
Restaurants.
Juices run down.
Yeah. Yep.
You don't want that beautiful crispy skin.
Yeah, because if you put it
at
down,
the bottom,
if I would have put that
all soggy.
Think
and
about
gross.
that. If I would have put that skin down in that quinoa salad, it wouldn't have been crispy anymore. Because you really want to showcase. That's why you leave the skin on, and you're trying to showcase crispy skin on a fish it's delicious. It's so great.
Yeah.
And you want to showcase it. So if you put it down, it's
hiding it.
Yeah,
You're
it's
ruining
not
it.
going to be crispy. It's going to take
100%.
a very short amount of time to lose that crispiness. Yeah.
Well, that crisp adds a lot of really awesome texture changes
Right.
to the fish. So if you don't have a bunch of crispy elements in your dish,
Yeah.
you have that soft, flaky fish with the crispy skin. Like that just is an awesome combination by itself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Keep your skin on.
Yeah. So then, and then I topped that with the Gremolata, with the dandelion flowers, and it was good. And that gave it a little bit
that
more
was
salt.
not a very moist condiment. Is it
Yeah,
condiment? You
I
call it
didn't-
salt? It's not. It's not.
Yeah,
salt. Definitely
a garnish.
Not sauce,
I mean,
garnish,
yeah.
So it was a very dry.
Some of them come with. I brushed the. Sometimes you can add a little bit more olive oil, and to those, and I didn't want it to be too much. But so I actually, I brushed this as soon as while the skin was hot. I brushed it with a little bit of seasoned butter.
Yeah.
To give it a little bit of that, but yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah, it was a fun dish to make.
Awesome way to have
It's
fish.
always super fun way
Yes.
to showcase different things. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Very approachable too. Like it definitely like the walleye. Not a fishy fish.
right.
So great way if you have somebody that's hesitant. My wife is not a huge fan of fish.
Yeah,
But I feel like she would have eaten that.
Yeah, there
because
was
it wasn't overly. Yep. Again, it wasn't fishy. Yeah.
yeah. My
That's what I'm trying
daughter's
to
the
say.
same way. She doesn't like fish that's fishy,
Mm-hmm.
like a lot of seafood, like things like that. So a lot of the stuff I brought back from Texas kayak fishing, she didn't want that. But
Okay.
she's more of she'll eat perch, she'll eat walleye.
Gotcha.
But one of the guys came up to me and he was from at the field of table dinner, and he was from Wisconsin, and he was like, I haven't had walleye since I moved out to Washington State.
no.
I've been living out there for 10 years, man. This was so amazing. Thank you so much. So
Yeah,
that was
it's-
great.
It's a beautiful fish. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't had walleye, go find some.
Yeah,
It's super good.
and you can get it in grocery stores too.
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Yeah, if you want to try it. Yeah, for sure.
I think I might have to do this with my bluegill for sure. Because my favorite way to do bluegill is just you whack the head off, you scale it, and you just throw it in a pan whole. Well,
Yeah.
you got it.
Yeah.
The head and guts come out.
Right.
And then just all that beautiful skin. I love the crispy stuff. So like the fins, the tails.
I
like, all
leave the
that's
heads
so
on,
good.
actually.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. If,
There's a lot
I've
of
got
beautiful flavor there. I need to try
I've got
that.
a fried bluegill recipe. Now, it's not like I'm eating it, but like I've got a fried bluegill recipe on the website, and especially the fins.
The
little
presentation
they're
is
just
super cool.
Now, putting the heads on, leaving the heads on, it's a little bit scarier looking, but I just had fun with
different.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe you know who to serve that dish to and who not to.
exactly. Yeah.
So when I'm home by myself, I'll be doing that. But
Yeah. Yeah. But
That's
like
funny.
when the mother-in-law is coming,
not.
I'll take the heads off like you.
we
Yeah.
might fillet them then.
Right. Yeah.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's a perfect segue, I think, into the other half of this conversation. If you have questions about this dish, shoot them a DM, shoot them an email.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Your contact info is all over the place on your website. So
Yeah, absolutely.
Jeff, I'm assuming would be super happy to talk more.
I answer
about the
questions
dish.
all the time
Yes.
about it. Yeah.
Yes.
Be very
so,
cool.
But so moving on to the second half of the conversation, you're doing a presentation later this week.
Yeah.
About cooking with kids.
Yeah, I'm cooking wild game with kids.
Yes,
Yeah, because
yes.
I've got a 9-year-old daughter, very soon to be 10, probably 10 by the time this comes out.
Okay.
And she's in the kitchen with me cooking all the time. But she grew up on wild game, grew up on fish recipes. That deviled kidneys recipe that's on my website, my wife was not going to participate, but my daughter, I think, was 5 when I did that one, and she absolutely ate it. Now,
oh my gosh, yeah.
she knows what it is now because of so now she's not big into the organ meat right now, but yeah, I mean, she's a very adventurous eater. Makes life a lot easier. Cool. I mean, I know a lot of parents aren't. They don't have kids that are so much.
Mine are getting picky.
Yeah. And, you know, she's got friends that come over or we've got cousins that come to visit, and, you know, it might be like we don't have chicken nuggets in the house. There is always a couple emergency boxes of mac and cheese if I'm in the middle of a photo shoot and it's going to be a while and she needs to make something quick herself. Yeah. She likes mac and cheese, and so she can make a box herself. But yeah, I wanted to do, they asked me to do it, and it's unfortunate we actually have a family funeral, so my wife and daughter were supposed to be here. So my daughter was going to be on stage with me, but they're back in North Dakota attending that this weekend. And so I got my wife's uncle had passed away, but I got a buddy who's got a daughter. They're my daughter's same age, and they're going to be in attendance. So nice. I shot him a few texts and said, "Hey, would she like to do it?" And he was like, "I think so. She seems up for it. She's right here," and she says, "Yeah." Yeah, and so and I didn't want to just go in blind. This is before I had left Fargo, and I said, "What is she eating right now? What is like her favorite thing to eat?" And he was like, "She's totally into stir fries." Ooh. I'm like, that totally works. I was like, okay, chicken or beef stir fry? He's like, beef more than chicken. I was like, great. Let her know we're gonna be doing some Canada Goose breast stir fry.
That sounds awesome.
So he was like, okay, she's willing to do that. So so I brought Canada Goose breasts. I've got them all cleaned up. I've already tenderized them with a Jacquard meat tenderizer. If you go to any of my steak recipes on there, I am a huge, on the website, I'm a huge advocate of tenderizing your steaks with the Jacquard meat tenderizer. It just makes a big difference. It does amazing things too for that goose breast. And so we're going to have some fun with it. I'm going to have the dad and the daughter on stage.
That's awesome.
So that they can cook the dish together. And we're going to try 2 different ways when it comes to tenderizing, to getting the meat ready. And so, I mean, I've already done it with the Jacquard, but we're going to do, I'm going to have him actually, you know, when you do stir fries, have you ever use the baking soda method?
I don't think so.
In a lot of, if you go to like a lot of the like Chinese food websites, a lot of Chinese food cookbooks, you're going to find one of the secrets for tenderizing. And you can do this with venison steak. If you're going to do a venison steak stir fry, or you're going to do a goose like this, goose or duck stir fry, you cut the breast or the steak thin, okay, just like you would for a stir fry. But then you're going to put in, I think it's a teaspoon of, directions are on a recipe on the website, but you're going to use a teaspoon of baking soda for like 1 pound of meat. You use 1 teaspoon of baking soda and just like a 1/4 cup of water.
Okay.
You're going to mix those together and just put it in a bowl, because you're not drowning it in this, but you're putting, and you kind of massage the meat with it, and then you just let it sit in the fridge for like at least 30 minutes, but like you could go like a half a day, or even, I mean, you could even go a day. Yeah. That's fine. I've experimented with it. That it tenderizes that meat so much.
Okay.
It makes a big difference, but you're going to use it with sliced meat. They use that all the time for beef stir fries.
Okay.
In Chinese food
have you done
cooking.
That with ground meat? Because that sounds a lot like a trick that we do for that.
Yep.
Just to keep
you guys,
moisturized.
Yeah. So it's.
So I guess I have done that trick.
Yeah. So you're doing the same concept.
With strips.
Yeah. So you're doing the same concept. So, so I think it'll be fun for the cooking demo for him. So to kind of get him involved. So I'm going to have him doing that, and then I'm going to hand her a meat mallet and show her the other way that you can tenderize a goose breast.
Some aggression out.
Yes. Yeah, I think that'll be fun. And we're also going to have some music. I know that I got my daughter and I love cooking with to music. That's always a big thing. And
do you have a Spotify playlist?
Well, we do. We've got the that lady from Amazon who we talked to and asked to do, she sets my timers for me.
Yes.
And, but she also plays music. And
you could say the name, it'll be funny.
Yeah. Well, I just don't want to set anybody else's off. But it's so funny because then we love listening to, she'll listen to different things. Like I like cooking when I do photo shoots, like Trampled by Turtles or, different kind of groups like that. But it's also fun when the girls come home and I'm playing music from a certain country. Like if it's a very specific, if it's not just like a normal bluegrass or something like that, they're like, oh, we're eating Mexican food tonight because Dad's listening to salsa, or it's Italian opera, so we must be having a pasta
experience. That's awesome.
I like, if they come in and there's Pavarotti on there, it's going to be a pasta night or something like that. But I like doing that. But when it's her, we like to listen to The Greatest Showman, the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And we love listening to that. And my buddy's daughter likes to listen to that, so we're actually going to play some music for them, and
cool.
So they can cook together and kind of jam out a little bit during the presentation, and I think cooking with kids should be fun, right?
Yeah.
And
just getting them involved, gives them power.
Yeah, just
feeling heard.
Yeah, just letting them do something.
Yeah,
right. I mean, now I can hand a knife to my daughter, and I'm comfortable.
That's cool.
I'm so always kind of looking at the corner of my eye, but I can turn my back for a minute, right? And I just have to, give her a little reminders and things like that on safety. But really, she's been in the kitchen with me since the beginning, and so we listen to music, we have fun, and if it's not going to send a recipe or a dish completely sideways, flavor-wise, and she has a suggestion for it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, let's try it. That sounds
awesome.
cool.
That's perfect.
I mean, we're not going to put, I don't know. We're not going to put grape jelly in our fettuccine Alfredo, but, maybe we could come up with another idea. What would be another idea that we could do? Yeah.
Yes. Do you feel like that has helped engagement, with actually eating dishes? You said your daughter's not super picky.
But yeah, she's not picky, but I think I never gave her that option of eating other stuff. We just didn't have chicken nuggets. It's always been wild game. 95% of what's in our freezer is wild game and fish that we caught, that we hunted. And she's a huge, just last month, we had a cousin in town for hockey tournaments. And she was explaining to her, she was like, I can't believe you guys kill your animals for your food. And here's I didn't say anything because I was cooking up supper for everybody. And my daughter sat there and gave her this big explanation. She's like, where do you think your McDonald's that you just got after your tournament comes from?
Yeah.
They killed that cow. They killed it. Somebody killed that thing, and I bet you there was a lot of blood everywhere. This is my daughter. I was like, oh my gosh.
How old was she at the time?
9. She's 9 years old. This is a month ago. And
oh my word.
And she's like, yeah, you go to the grocery store to get your meat, and we go out to the woods, right, Dad? And I said, absolutely.
I love it.
It's such a great to see her. She's just overheard things and listened, and learned a lot from the cooking, and I think that's one of the things that we have over at Edge for any of those wild game and fish and foraging cooks. Even if you're just a home cook, you have this edge over everybody else because you already know where your food comes from.
Yeah.
My niece literally does not know.
Yeah.
She cannot fully grasp that concept of
a lot of people don't
hamburger from the grocery store. Yeah, and I know people have talked about it in different conversations, but that's a real thing.
A lot of people don't want to know, which is kind of sad.
Yeah, but I think most of the listeners to this podcast are they do understand that.
Oh yeah,
I think
that's our goal.
Making sure, but it's also important to not be scared to show that to your kids.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
When you come home when I butcher a deer, she's right there with me. I remember being out in the field out in the Badlands in North Dakota, and I shot a mule deer doe. She was 4 when she was with me. And so we start butchering this thing, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how this is going to go, right? This is the first time she's been with me where, here's an actual deer. And, I cut it open and I pull the heart out and I'm holding this bloody heart. And I looked at her and her eyes are just wide open. She's looking at this thing. I said, do you want to hold the heart? She's like, can I? I said, yeah, take your gloves off. And I handed her this warm heart. And she's holding it. She's just staring at it. I go, all right, this is the moment of truth. And she goes, Dad, yeah, can I ask you a question? Sure. Can I touch its eyeball now? And I said, sure, future doctor, that's fine. It's a kid thing. I said, but we got to be respectful of it. We're not going to poke it with a stick or something like that. But yes, you can. Yeah. So she knows, she literally knows the parts of the animal. She knows where the tenderloins come from. She knows where the back straps are. She knows which steaks, awesome. She knows that there's organs in there that we want to get, that there's a heart, there's a liver, there's kidneys, caul fat. I mean, she knows what happens.
She gonna give you some sass if you forget one.
Well, no, but I butcher animals I butcher a few every year. So she knows what happens, why you don't take a shot, you don't shoot a deer in the butt while it's running away, because how messy that is and how much meat you lose trying to clean that up.
Not get the deer.
Yeah. She knows all that, right? So, it's teaching her, and I think it's, people trap rabbits and bring them to me, and then they're horrified that if I'm going to dispatch it in front of her, and I'm like, dude, she knows how this works. This is how life and death works. So I think it's a good thing for especially people who are wild game cooks, home cooks. Yeah. Don't be scared to show your kids 100%. That part of it, because
that's part of it.
Yeah, it's connecting it. Yeah. It's connecting it. Yeah, if they're out in the woods with you and maybe they weren't there during taking them out in the woods, but then when you get them home, but just being patient with them too. Yeah. When you're cooking with your kids, and I've got a 9-year-old, so this is a much different conversation when she was 4, right? But yeah, like you said, getting them involved, making it fun. Yeah. And it's the same thing with hunting. It's the same thing with kids, whether it's hunting, whether it's fishing. Fishing is a different thing because that's always a disaster with small children. But cooking, it's helping, especially with prep. So it might be maybe you don't want them helping you over a wok with a stir fry if they're 4 or 5. Right. That might be a little bit dangerous. But maybe
they can batter your shrimp though.
Yeah. But I mean, if it's maybe something a little bit simpler, and maybe they can stir, right?
I've got a 5-year-old and twins that are 2, so it's messy when they help.
Yeah, you got to make sure.
Love it. It's so much fun, and they're just begging to help. Yeah, and you can see it in their eyes, they want to be They want to be with you. They want to be, a part of the experience. And
it's so many interesting things. I did a steak and kidney pie, but we did mini versions. Okay, because they kind of look like little muffin. Yeah, things, it's right. Fun. And so she helped me make those, and so, it's little things like that, making things simpler. That's why the vast majority of recipes on the website are 30-minute meals, or you put it in the crock pot in the morning, and then they're ready 15, 20 minutes after you get home from work. Because that's really the whole premise of the website is wild game and fish recipes for busy parents. Mm-hmm. Or cool. Maybe it might be, you might be a single person too, but it's really just simple recipes, right?
Because we all got stuff to do.
You do, and especially
we need to eat better food.
Yeah, but it's healthy-ish, right? And
definitely better than fast food.
Yeah,
for sure. So.
Yeah, but I mean, we love eating salads. Putting fish and wild game on it. It could be as simple as that. Just doing, even for your kids, help them do a venison steak salad. Yeah, right, and let them make their salad. It can be just a super simple salad with some, if you've got iceberg lettuce and carrots. I mean, think about what the salad bar looks like at their school. Yep. Ask them that would be a simple thing too. What do you put on your salad when you do a salad at school? And maybe it's just carrot sticks and ranch. Okay, so we're going to do lettuce, carrots, ranch, and steak. And venison steak. Sure. And then you can cut it up into little pieces for them. And let them try it, and just season it with salt and pepper, and it can be as simple as that. Yeah. And the kids are going to love it.
If it gets them less picky, that's what I need.
Yeah. Just don't overthink things. If you have a favorite chicken recipe, especially if it's a chicken breast recipe, you can do that with pheasant breasts. You just have to, I used to just like brining it for minutes.
They're a little
not
bit
hours
more
or
delicate,
overnight because they're
compared to chicken.
smaller. You don't need a lot of time, but then also using a meat thermometer. That's always
It's
key,
huge.
whether it's a steak or whether it's pheasant. But a lot of times we try to overthink it and think we can't do stuff like that. I've got a pheasant Florentine. It's just a chicken Florentine, but with pheasant breasts on it.
Nice.
You know, but that's one of my most popular recipes on the website, and it's super easy to make, and it's just spinach, like you saute the pheasant breasts. It's literally a few minutes. Set those aside, then you put your spinach in the pan, then you make like this garlic cream sauce. It's super easy, and it's like 20 minutes. The whole thing is in 20 minutes, and you can put it over pasta, you can put it over rice, potatoes, whatever you want. So little things like that. I think, just trying to find things. What are the things that your kid eats? Ask them. Like, what are some things that you like to eat at school? What are some things that you like to eat at dinner? Even if it's a pizza, and then incorporate wild game into that.
So when is that pheasant dino nugget recipe coming out? we need that.
We do have a pheasant
Coming soon.
tenders. Have you ever done that with the pheasant tenders? You separate the pheasant breast from the tenderloin.
We don't get a whole lot of pheasant in Indiana.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So
okay.
I need to travel.
Yeah,
But we've done some South Dakota pheasant hunts.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I need to twist my dad's arm to take us back out.
Yeah. But you can separate those two, and then the tenderloin, we fried those up separate. There's actually a trick where like you lay the knife flat, like you put your tenderloin, so it's it's got that tendon in it, right? But you find
Kinda
the end of
like
that
how you take
tenderloin.
off silver skin like that.
Yes,
that
but
style?
you take that, but it's in the middle of that thing. So, but you actually like lay the piece of meat down, get a hold. It's going to be sticking out a little bit, that tendon, and then you lay your knife blade flat, or like this, and then you like just go across the cutting board, and it comes right out.
Copy.
Pulls that tendon right out, and then the meat like stays together, and then you just can fry that up. And we have a fried pheasant tenders. That's my daughter's hand in that photo on the website. But those are super good, and she's dipping it in, I think, yum yum sauce. Like that's her. If I could get her to eat a venison steak without dipping it in yum yum sauce, I would be a happy man. Sometimes she does, but that's her favorite condiment. If I turn my corner, if I turn around and not look, she's sneaking away to the fridge to put Japanese steak sauce on her steak. Yeah, that's okay. It's not ketchup.
As long as they're eating it.
Yeah, as long as they're eating it, enjoying
awesome.
it. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. Well, definitely, listeners, watchers, if you have questions about like how to substitute game, tell Jeff what game you have. He'll point you in the right direction. But 100%, it's transferable. It's like any dish you've made with beef or chicken, you can do with wild game.
Yeah. And you can shoot me an email too. I mean, so if you subscribe to the emails on there, jeff@wildgameandfish.com. Yeah. You can email me if you don't want to, if you're not on a certain social media platform or, and I answer all of them. So I'm usually pretty good about it. Being very quick, like maybe within the day. There is a trip with a very special, my daughter and I are going to be doing a 2-week road trip to Yellowstone and all over Montana, because this is the year they get into all the national parks for free. So she's super stoked. So we're going to try to see how many national parks we can get into.
Yes.
In a 2-week period, just her and I. My mom or my wife is staying home, and she's got to work. But I was just like, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to live in the back of a Ford Expedition.
Yes.
And we're going to travel, and we're going to run around and have some fun. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, it's getting close on time, and it's getting busy in here.
Yeah,
so
everybody's setting up their booths.
It's getting a little loud, so we should probably cut short here. Typically, we end each episode with a recipe, but you've already given us like a dozen. So
yeah, that's
and your
fine.
website. We're going to send everyone to your website. It's just loaded with recipes. Outdoor Edge Wild Game Wednesday. It's pretty easy to find in the navigation. We'll link it below.
Yeah.
Tons of cool recipes from Jeff.
Yeah.
I've got a couple in there.
Yeah.
My favorite's probably the Dove Marsala. I think that turned out really well.
Yeah.
So again, another classic dish that you can make wild.
Yeah.
Super easy.
Yep.
So check out their websites. Tons and tons of recipes. Looking forward to seeing what you got coming next. So
thanks
so much for being here. Thanks so much for that dinner last night. It was exquisite, and we'll see you around.
Yeah, I appreciate all the work you're doing, and this is a great platform, and all your great photos, all your great
Thank you. Yeah.
It's very inspiring
We're trying to make
me
food
too.
approachable.
Yeah, but it's just some of your photography is always great. And it inspires me to do better as well. Yeah. So I really appreciate everything that you're doing. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah.
Thanks for being here.
Reach out anytime. We'll chat.
Yeah. Thanks.
Cheers.